Hello, I'm Loretta, CEO and founder of New York Gold Tours, and bringing again another Wednesday of live drawing, posted before 7 until we can live stream. So, expanding on last week's vision strategy that took us outside for some grounding that was directional, north, south, east, west, to help see ourselves on the globe, which is something that we began here with a previous Wednesday where we drew ourselves on the globe to try and picture ourselves where we are. It's not as easy as it sounds. So, to expand on that, this week we're going to draw some boxes. And we'll spend maybe just about 15 minutes to do the exercise tonight. A vision strategy tool, a SMART tool, we call it. So, hopefully, you have your drawing supplies, some pencils and pens will help, markers, whatever you have, some coloring supplies. It doesn't matter if you don't have a lot of colors, just some that could be qualifying as some favorites. So, begin tonight's exercise with a visualization of yourself on the globe. So, take last week's, a previous one of the, take this drawing from a previous Wednesday and take a minute to absorb it, to picture yourself within your state, your city, your country, of course, the continent that you're on. And close your eyes. And try to see yourself. Try to see yourself as you are. From space on the globe. A perspective from space, seeing yourself on the globe. See yourself alone. And then with all the actuals, the people, the surroundings, whatever it is that you want to include in your image of self for this exercise. When you've done that, see a blank page and take a minute to let that replace the visual. I'll let you go and take time, take a minute and go get that if you don't have it. Just a blank white page. So while you do that, I'll tell you about next week. So next week's vision strategy will take us outside, and we should know by then where north, south, east, west is. So if you don't know, you can get yourself a compass or borrow one, or just have a general idea by next week of where north, south, east, west is, so that we can do some exercises outside and face those directions. And so that's a principle of what we're studying tonight a little bit with the boxes. We're going to start to form an idea of our coordinates here on the planet. We're not going to be specific, just a general visualization. Okay, so let's begin. So with the blank white page, you can use a ruler depending on what size page you have. You can use the appropriate ruler, make it easy for yourself, or you don't need a ruler at all. You can use the edge of another page or a book, or you can just wing it and just start to make rectangles. I'm sorry, not rectangles, boxes, but we'll make them in the shape of squares. So we're going to make 3. So pick a pencil and you might want to start at the top or the bottom, maybe the bottom, and that way you can space them out. Sometimes it's good to start in the middle and then you can balance it with the other 2. But I'm just going to start mine at the bottom. I'm going to line my ruler up with the bottom of the page, and that way I won't waste space. So I think I'll do 2 by 2 by 2. So I'm just going to use the 2 to 4 inch span. I'm not sure that these all 3 fit on the page, so maybe we'll just make 2. We'll see how this goes. If we spend a little less than 15 minutes, I think it's okay. So I chose a hard pencil lead, which isn't really lead. I think it's just graphite, but I chose a hard one which gives a lighter line. I do like a softer pencil for a nice dark rich line, but this is okay. Hopefully you can see in the box. So there's one. It looks like it'll fit. It should fit all 3. So I'm just going to line up my ruler with the top edge of the square. Again, the 2 and the 4. As parameter. Okay, I messed that one up. I went a little bit above the line, so I just need my eraser here. And the last square, 3rd square on the top of the page, it's not really erasing. Okay, that's okay. So much over this way. Okay. Again, lining up my ruler with top of the square. This one might not fit. It just makes it. That was a little dumb. Okay. All right, brilliant. 3 squares, 3 boxes. Okay, so we're going to, for tonight's exercise, picture ourselves in the center of each square. Because what the square is going to represent is, like I said, coordinates to where we are. So we have north, south, north, south, north in front, south behind, east, west. But we also have from above, north looking down. That's a different exercise. But for this one, north, south, east, west is going to be on the sides and in front of us and behind us. So with north, thinking in terms of above, like a North Star type of thing, the guiding force, but knowing that we're talking about directional north in front of us, we can substitute for north something that is a favorite color. So it doesn't have to be a favorite color actually, but a color that is like a guiding, that we would consider like a guiding energy, something that we would like as a guiding color if we were to have a guiding color. So like an energy of a color. And I'm going to do that one first because I want to start at the top because I left very little room, and it's just going to require going over that line with that color. So first, what we'll do is center well, that'll be for next week. We'll get the direct center, but we'll have an exercise where we find, well, yeah, I think that'll be for next week, the centering of our position. But no, let's picture ourselves in the center of each one. So let's place a dot in the center of each place for where we are within this. So a little circle in the center as best you can. You could run the ruler diagonally across both to all four, across both diagonal corners so that you can determine the exact center, but you can just eye it. And that's about where we are in terms of our north, south, east, west coordinates. So the first box, like I said, and try to start at the top, will be of color. So we'll start by highlighting the line. Oh, but what I want to do is take a pen and go over the line. Okay, so just a regular pen. This is a good Pilot one. So we could use the ruler again, but I'm just going to go right over the line, just nice and quickly. So that's one done. 2 done. And going down to the third. I went inside the lines and they're no longer perfect squares, but all good and okay. Okay. Leave the center point of where you can imagine yourself in pencil, just in pencil. Okay, so a guiding color energy. I'm gonna do, I'm trying to choose between green, a spring green, a pink, and a sunny yellow. So I also like pool blue, aqua blue. But I'm going to, I even like sky blue as well. The aqua I could use as a as a also sky. So water and sky, ocean and sky. Or pool. I'm gonna do the sun, the sunshine yellow. Okay, so that one I'm gonna have above me. And I'm just doing one line across the top of the box. So that's my guiding one for north. And then I'm going to use those other colors that I couldn't decide about. So east, I'm going to think in terms of, okay, so that's north. East is on my right. And I like things that grow on my right. So I'm using the green, once down, once up, to be nice and dark in color on that side of the box. So you can picture your colors and use them accordingly. I'm going to use pink as my foundational. So south can be thought of as foundational. And finally, blue on my left, which is west. And that is our first exercise. We can imagine north, south, east, west. So east is always going to be on the right, west is always going to be on the left. In terms of where we are, when facing north, I meant to say. So we're as if we're facing north. And using that same criteria, we'll do the second box by actually labeling north, south, east, west. I'm going to use my pen since my pencil is so light. Okay. With this, we can use our pencil to draw an arrow to face north. And we want to actually face north. Okay, and we're going to remember we were facing a different direction, and we're going to put a dotted line as to where we were facing with an arrow. So I'm facing north now, but I was facing this direction, so that's the direction I drew my arrow. Can you see? So let me check it out and see that it checks out. So north this way. So I'm facing east. Yes, absolutely. So it's good to look around your environment and see which way the room that you're in is oriented. So mine is oriented to almost north, almost south. It's not exactly correct, but it's trying to orient north-south. So when you walk into a room, you can decide south to be a doorway, the doorway that you entered in. Here it's the opposite. The window is south. But that is the overriding vision strategy principle. Especially when if you don't know which way north south is, but also if you just want to orient yourself to a space. So it's good to have south as the doorway, and then north, or your guiding, where you're going to, the guiding force or energy is the rest of that direction. So here it's toward my windows. So it's from south to north, or you can think in terms of guiding visuals coming into the room. So right now, I'm in a relaxed position, facing east. So those guiding visuals are not at play. I'm sitting back from them and I'm relaxed. Okay. And the last box that we have to work on is the one that will bring it home for us, because for the whole exercise, the whole point of being able to understand a little bit about our coordinates and take a deep breath in as we do that and put our chest out, because it's an understanding, it's a gain, it's a thing that we can encompass and own. But that's what it is. It's about ownership, and it's so the overarching main principle is ownership, our own ownership of place in this world, on the globe, as we like to say, in our life, of course, but first and fundamental, where we are. And it's one of those things that we take for granted. We can go our whole lives and not think about where we are. We really don't. And we can even move from place to place and not take ownership of where we are. But this is a tool, a vision strategy smart tool, that can take you to a different and better understanding of life and different pragmatics that can serve you very well. So one of the things that comes with ownership that I was talking about this week is peace and a level of calm. So with ownership of this sort, we definitely can gain a peace and a calm that is transferable and can be shared. And it makes going through the world a nicer event. And it also is something that when shared, we share it just by the things that we share, the work that we do. We lend a bit of calm and a bit of peace to the things that we do. And it's a joy and a benefit that comes from that. Okay, so for the final box, we can draw any of the other things that we think might come from this kind of ownership. And what we have as a fundamental, foundational element in vision strategy, New York Ultra's vision strategy, is a pairing of land, stance, own, with mind, body, spirit. So that land, stance, own is our proprietary and original and unique take on that which vision strategy can achieve. So it's so in the last box we can draw a word, we can draw figures, we can draw whatever we think that can be achieved by this sort of ownership of where we are on the globe, which is not just about where we are on the globe, but it's about, it brings in all of those things like purpose and fortitude and, of course, when you look closely, community and those kinds of things like team. But in the bigger picture we're talking about right now. So we can start with own and just with peace and calm, and we can just start from there. And then as the weeks go by, we can expand on the different principles that we can get from owning where we are on the globe or owning our place in the world. I think I'm going to start with peace. So maybe that's a good general rule for everybody, and we should start with peace. We do all hope for a world where we don't war anymore, although we like a strong nation, so we like the balance, but we definitely do not like the harm that comes from war. And so, and I think in war everyone suffers. So, so our goal should be peace. So I'm going to take all four of my colors and I'm just going to sort of color a foundation of the four colors in unison. Oh, and it's funny that I put the heavier color on the bottom, which is how I would design it sometimes. So it came out pretty crude, but I'm going to lightly go over with a design. Just in the spaces around the crude coloring. And I guess I'll make a dark line, just whatever you think is nice, a symbolic representation of what you might think of as a peaceful notion that you can put out on this page right now. And these are things that you can come back to when you're having whatever kind of a week you're having. And you can come back to these things and start to form a visual from them of whatever they might mean to you. So with our pen, so this is what I have so far, and I'm going to use the blue to make sky above. So I'm going to try to go very lightly. I'm going to skip some spaces to make clouds. Okay, and so with our pen, what we want to do is label our drawings, our boxes, so that we remember what they're about when we come back to them at a future time. So the bottom one we know right away is peace. The next one up, is where we are. And the next one up is guiding colors. You could put just guiding color if you don't want to put guiding colors, because I didn't really explain that they were all sort of guiding colors because they were those that we choose. But you know, choose in this exercise for this instance and for the concept going forward if we want to. And so as we start to use these drawings, we can decide those things. And so So the overall exercise here is coordinates. That will be the title. Okay, and we can date it if we like. And that is that. So I think everyone did a good job. It's good to tune in to this and do a little bit for yourself. A little bit of vision strategy strengthening can only make you stronger. It can only bring you to better awares and chart a better course. So good going. And vision coordinated. See you next week.